You do not need to get up at the crack of dawn every morning.
Peggy, I didn't retire to sleep my life away like some Nepo baby.
It's Bobby. Yellow, honey. So glad you called.
Ooh.
Are you eating something? Let me hang up and call back.
Hey, Anthony. Once again, my name is Nigeria Chambers from Big O Belt Media. Super excited to talk to you today. Congratulations. King of the Hill returns for its 14th season to Hulu. All 10 episodes, August 4th. How you doing today?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Were you at San Diego Comic-Con by any chance?
Nah, I didn't get to go. I was gonna go out there, but yeah, I was on because I do stand-up comedy as well, so I was out on the road, man. But yeah,
Hey, a win is a win no matter where you at. But I tell you, if you were there, man, it was 100% the year of King of the Hill. It was from the activations, from the exclusive merchandise, from the panels, everywhere in every direction you look, it was all thing King of the Hill. And I know you're super excited for it as it returns for its 14th season. I am curious though, because it being revived and it was standing the test of time. And it's interesting, as I would say, as a middle-aged adult, I looked at the kids who was in line for the activation, excited as I was as an adult, which means that throughout all this time, it's obviously been carried with us, but it's
yeah,
also has gravitated to the younger audience as well. When you sort of look back at what everything that the series has been able to accomplish over the years, and then ultimately when everybody's going to be able to see how it pushes the needle for the 14th season, what do you think is truly the sort of the recipe behind why it remained relevant over the years?
man. I feel that one of the things is because Mike Judge touches on everything. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really leave anything untouched. So and he puts out facts. And he talks about it, so it's relatable, and then it's a good family show. So
Yeah,
it relates to a lot of people. And I've always knew that it had a big fan base.
yeah.
But now more than anything, now that I'm on board 100% as a recurring role in there as Emilio, now I'm starting to see like how hardcore the fan base really is, man.
Yeah. No, truly. And I was talking to some of your other cast members, and some of the ones that were on site. They was like, yeah, when they went past the activation, and I can attest because I tried to do it twice. The lines for it was wrapped around the corner, and they were saying the wait was like 4 to 5 hours, and people were just yeah, people were just out there, and I was like, well, there it is. That's all the proof you need to know that everybody's gonna be excited when it drops on Hulu once again, August 4th. I want to ask you about your nickname. Because in every facet of wherever you find information about you on, your nickname is always attached, which means it has to be super important to you, a part of your identity, and probably has its roots from something meaningful. Because everybody has a nickname, but like you carry your nickname in everything you do. So talk to me about how'd you land it, and why is it important that it is attached to your name?
Man, I've been called Citric since like 1991, I think it was. You know what I'm saying? And that was given to me by a friend of mine, Eddie. Rest in peace. He passed away a few years back. But I started off rapping back in the days. We used to have a group called Browntown, and then it went to Pueblo Cafe. We started doing straight Spanish rap.
Yeah.
So basically, back in the early days in 89, 90, we used to go out to these house parties with my DJ. He used to get on the DJ, on the tables. He'd be DJing where they're doing a set, and then I'd jump in once in a while on the mic. So my boy Eddie, he was there. He most of the time he'd be there, or he'd hear from other people. Hey, I saw your boy Anthony over there, man. He's doing his thing, whatever. And then he was telling me one day, he goes, bro, you're like citric acid. And I'm like, what do you mean citric acid? Because I've seen citric acid, like pretty much on everything. And he goes, you're everywhere, bro. You're like, you're like,
Ooh.
yes, man. Everywhere I hear you were there. Yeah, I saw you were there. So it's like pictures pop up of you here and there. So it just stuck. It just took me. And then later on, people just started calling me Big Citric. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've always been a big dude. So
Yeah.
they started calling me Big Citric. So it's always stuck with me. And so I always, use Anthony Campos, aka Big Citric, it's just been a part of my identity since back then, just as much as this goatee here.
Yeah. That's fire, man. That's really dope. That's really
Hey,
dope.
bro.
I knew it was going to be a tight story behind it. But yeah, stepping into the 14th season, and now we have the introduction of a new character, Emilio, which before I even knew I was going to have an opportunity to talk to you, I was very drawn to the character. One, because it was a new character, and I wanted to, get to see what this character was all about. But I think Emilio is a character, represents a character that, in one way, shape, or form, everybody has had an Emilio in their corner.
Yeah.
And whether it's the OG from around the way, whether it's the big brother, cousin, whatever it may be, it's that person that's just there for you, that's going to give you that advice. He's going to keep it straight with you. Yeah, there may be some humor. He may, pick on you sometimes, but at the end of the day, he trying to put you onto game and trying to keep you, keeping the course. And I really respect that. And again, it made me think about some folks in my life. I'm curious for you, and we'll talk about you actually stepping into the role and portraying the character. But is there anybody in your life that when you saw the script, when you saw the character, that it immediately made you think of somebody?
Um, yeah, I want to say a couple people. But the crazy part is that in a lot of people's lives, I'm that character to them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the voice of reason. I try to give people advice, and how people get out of certain situations.
Yeah, yeah,
And so a lot of people come for me for advice, and stuff like that. So it wasn't too hard, man, to kind of like once I started reading the script, I kind of knew what Mike Judge kind of wanted to go with this character, what he wanted, and that's basically what it is. I'm basically like another father figure for Bobby, and help
yeah.
him out when he's having certain situations. Even if he don't ask for my advice, I'll give it to him.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, this is dope. Like, and there's so many. There's going to be so many moments throughout the season. People are going to see that relationship between him and Bobby, and actually, I
Yeah.
look forward to many more seasons of that relationship because as we have seen Bobby grow up over the years, now that he's an adult, and has his restaurant and still trying to figure out his relationship aspect. I'm not going to give that away. You're kind of wondering, like, once he gets to that certain measure of success, once he starts getting the things that he's been trying to achieve, then what does that conversation look like? Because it's different when you need the help and you're soliciting and you're asking, but when you think you got it all set, then what does it look like when he's in his corner? That's what I really look forward
Yeah,
to.
exactly.
But beyond you stepping into the character Emilio, I mean, the one thing I have loved and yet I would almost even say the genius in King of the Hill is it's been the casting and the fact of the matter that you have characters on screen and you have the proper representation behind the scenes and playing these characters and you even have women voicing males and vice versa and whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, the family that they built around these characters, you feel that beyond their performances, and you step in and it's just completely fluent. And then you step into a character, not just as any character, but it's your character because it is your likeliness.
Yeah,
It's basically you at this
yeah,
rate, which means which to say, I don't know if there's anybody else on the show that has this same sort of casting where your character is your likeness and it is basically who you are, and you get
yeah,
to breathe life into it. Did that? Somebody had to get a text from you, whether it was, a partner of yours or family of some sort, but somebody had to get a text to you when you had to say, so I'm going to be in the new King of the Hill, but not only am I going to be in, but like the character's me. It's when you see the character, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's a 100% me. I'm not a made up character per se. Like this is me in there.
yeah,
Like that's big for the
yeah.
revival, and yet alone just for an iconic franchise. What was your thoughts when you found out that that's the direction it was going to go, and who was the first person you told about it?
Oh man, the first person I told well, first of all, when I first saw it, I was tripping out because I didn't see my character the way it looked like to the last recording session we did.
Oh
So yeah, they kind of surprised me with that one. They threw it up on the screen because you have a screen that
yeah,
we're doing the microphones in front of you and all that.
yeah,
And when I saw it, I was like, what the heck? I was tripping out, and I was just like, oh damn, that's tight, that's dope, and Mike, he knows what he's doing,
yeah,
he's very strategic about what he does, and so he knows what he's doing. And the first person I told was my son. My son goes, hey man, because as a matter of fact, I didn't even tell him. My son was in the recording session and my son was in the other room in the control room, and I looked over and I looked at the camera. And I looked over at my son. My son was all like, he's all tripping. He had to look like what like he was surprised too, and he just gave me the thumbs up. Hey, that's tight, you know. And then when we walked out, we talked about it, and then after that, I remember I called my PR team, Veronica, and my management, Wendy, and I told them, I go, hey man, the character looks just like me. I didn't. No, they were like, oh man, so they were excited for that too, you know.
Yeah, that's tight, man. That really is. You know what's funny is throughout the and I've saw the entire season, but throughout the season, I started to realize that Bobby, Emilio, and just all the chefs. Honestly, if there was a way to see some type of live action adaptation of y'all, and then somehow y'all ended up in the same universe as the bear, this is entertainment to the T. So now that you have sort of provided life into a character that's a chef, are you interested in something live action in the same sort of space? Would you better yet, would you like to see Emilio in like a show like The Bear?
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, anything's possible, man.
It's all under Disney.
Yeah,
Never
exactly,
say
man.
never.
You never know, man. You know, anything's possible, man. So that would be fun, man.
Yeah. One thing I do know about you and in all of your career and every bit of media, every platform you've ever stepped on, you always champion diversity and inclusion. And this show is a show that I would say has done it without being, extra about it in the sense of like, hey,
Yeah,
look at us, look what we're doing. Like they
yeah,
just do it. They normalized it in a way,
yeah.
which makes you a perfect fit for this. I want to know when you came on and you know what you stood for and you know what your everything that you've been able to display and everything you've been able to champion. When you realize that it aligned with your mission, at some point it had to click. I want to know what that emotion was. What was your thoughts? And then did you have any additional conversations about it?
Oh man, my initial thought was like, yeah, like you know what I'm saying, like I need to bring this character to life, you know, and do justice for it, you know, and that's always been my worries and my doubts, you know, when I
Yeah.
step into something like this or character, you know, and am I gonna do it right? Am I gonna do justice to it, you know? And you know, I always ask Mike or the director, hey man, what do you think? No, no, it's good, you know. And so I had to trust their judgment too, you know, because they obviously they want the best that's gonna whatever's gonna work for the show, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I knew, you know, there's a certain mission here that has to be accomplished, and and that's one of the things that makes the show relatable to everybody, you know. And like you said, they're not trying hard. They just Mike Judge just puts it the way it is, you know, and he puts everything out there the way real life is. And it's a great family show, and I think that's why everybody is attracted to it, you know, and it's relatable.
Yeah, yeah. Facts, big facts. Uh,
Yeah.
so obviously when you step into these shows, especially when it's returning for a revival, you kind of look at some of the key characters. But I also think this show does a great job at ensuring that all of the supporting characters also feel like main characters and mainstays as well.
Yeah.
They have their moments. They have very pivotal
Yeah.
moments and complement the other characters in ways that really amplifies both of them. I want to know for you when folks check out season 14 August 4th, when they first are introduced to Emilio, what is it that you want them, the impression you want to get from him, and what is it that you hope that they learn about him throughout the season?
Oh man, well, I'm just hoping, you know, people will be like walk away and be like, man, Emilio's a great guy and a great cook. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, basically, you know, I just, you know, want everybody to have a good time and enjoy it, man, and hopefully, you know, we keep bringing smiles and laughter to people, man, and make people
Yeah,
feel good, man, and you know what I'm saying? Because like, at the end of the day, you know, it's all real life stuff, man. You know, it's
yeah, yeah,
cartoon, but it's real life stuff. It
yeah,
happens.
yeah. Now I told them, and I'm not trying to say it. I remember when I first saw the show, and this, I mean, animation is probably at the highest point it's ever been right now. But back in the day, there was definitely a big moment where adult animation was taking over TV. And I remember when I first saw this, and I was like, "Oh man, look at this show with four rednecks. I can't do anything with that. I don't see myself at all." But the moment I decided to still be a rebellion because everybody was talking about it and watch it, I was like, "Oh damn! Like I should have been here since the beginning." And it's true. No matter what you look like, no matter what's your sexuality, your ethnicity, everybody's represented in it, and
Hey,
and that's the thing. The only thing I'm going to give a spoiler about is that they take that of what I just said and push the needle 10 dots down.
yeah.
They didn't let off on that, and it's so much more than anything anybody can expect for the previous 13 seasons. Do you have one of the earrings too? Was that your idea? Or was that part of
Nah,
the
that was
animation?
the animators. Everything's there. Minus the earrings. I really don't want. I don't
Yeah,
want. I used to have one back in the days, but yeah, I've been probably like 25 years since I wore one. I don't know. Maybe Mike went back and saw some old pictures and yeah, put the earrings on.
you might gotta ask him that, like, hey, were you like doing some research on me? You saw pictures of me a couple of years ago, saw me the earring.
Yeah,
By the way, I'm
yeah,
not
because
rocking that anymore.
right.
And
Oh
the filming, the recording process, was this something that you all got to do collectively, or did you do it and submit it over? How did you do the recording?
the recordings were done in a studio in LA, so they were, everybody went in there individually in the recording booth, but we had interactions during the table reads,
Okay.
so we say like 20 people on one table, and
Yeah.
that's where the interaction comes in, and that's where a lot of other ideas will come into play because what I'm saying, like somebody might say something like, oh, you know what, use that, to throw that
Yeah.
in, and so they would change little things on the script to the last minute, so that's where all the interaction went down with everybody else at the table reads.
Yeah. Dope, man. Oh man, if I know anything about how these type of shows are, I'm sure that footage is somewhere. I feel like that
Yeah.
needs to get put out there one way or another. So talk to me, man. Outside of the big revival of King of the Hill, once again, August 4th on Hulu. What else you working on? I know you're saying doing stand up. So tell us where we can find tour dates and what else other projects you may be coming down the pipeline.
Right now, as far as the tour dates, the best bet is to follow me on social media on Instagram. I'll post up all my shows that I got coming up at Big Citric at Instagram. Basically all my social media handle at Big Citric,
Yeah.
BIGCTRIC, and we have a couple other projects that we're working on, but they're still in development. So I don't really want to speak too much on it, but we got some cool stuff, man. We've been working on, man. So I'm excited for those projects as well. Man.
Yeah, yeah. I peeped the IMDb and I was like, oh, okay, okay. I see about 6 or 7 projects coming down the pipeline. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll definitely be tapped in. And obviously, you'll have a seat here at the table anytime to come talk about what you got going on.
appreciate that,
I'm
man. Thank
super
you.
excited for the world to check this out. Fantastic job and congratulations on this, man. It's very, very rare where a show as iconic as this that a new character can come in and instantly grab your attention and you just want to hear you want more, you want to hear more, you want more interactions, and you get a lot this season. But I mean, like this is I would assume the energy from the fans and the audience once they check out all 10 episodes is the
Yeah,
hunger and the thirst for more to say like, nah, I need to see where this is gonna go
yeah,
beyond this. I want to see how the restaurant gonna ramp up beyond
yeah.
this point. When Bobby start acting up, I want to see him when he got catch him in line, where he really got to step in as dad number two. Like
Yup.
I need to see some of those because they've been casual conversations. And there've been a
Yeah,
lot of truth, and as I say, like a voice of reason, sometimes even reinforcement from pops, but also ultimately just a mentor. But sometimes you gotta
yeah,
roll up your sleeve. You might gotta pull out the belt. You gotta get them in
yeah.
line.
Yeah, no, real talk, man. But yeah, I'm sure all the fans are gonna after they watch these 10 episodes, man. I'm sure they're gonna be hooked, man. They're gonna be
Yeah.
waiting. Hey, I want to see what's gonna happen now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I know. There's where and speaking to the some of the other folks, everybody's ready to get back to work. There's a plan, so now we
Yeah,
just got to get people to get out there and support it. It is going to be on Hulu, August 4th, Disney Plus, Hulu on Disney Plus as well, folks. King of the Hill, the revival, the 14th season returns. It is one you don't want to miss. It's going to easily be your favorite binge on that day and for many more days after that. There's so much you can pull for this, so much you can relate from, and such a good time. With all the funs and silliness and everything you remember from it, take it to the next level. Anthony, thank you so much for your time today, man. It's been a complete pleasure and hope we get to talk again soon.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Thank you.